There are cockatoos way over to Billio. I could see something moving in the grass and I didn't know what it was. Or is it a rooster? Is it a rooster? One of those fluffy roosters? It is, it's a fluffy rooster. I thought it was a cockatoo. Or is it a piece of plastic? No, they're two roosters, or something. They're two chooks, aren't they? You can see, oh no, that's a cockatoo. Oh, I see, it's two cockatoos. It's the wind blowing their feathers about. I knew there was another cockatoo around, not far away. It's just that some of the neighbours have chooks. I knew those two were about. Some of the neighbours have chooks and they have all funny fluffy feathers. There you are, carry the pine cone. If you've got a cockatoo, you should feed it nice pine nuts because they like pine cones. Look at that, it can carry a pine cone, a whole pine cone. That's a stone pine, Pinus pinea. I can't keep up with you, can I? What are you doing with that? An Australian bird eating a pine cone from, where is it? From about Greece and Italy somewhere, I think. The Mediterranean region. That one's got a pine cone as well. I don't know how many pine nuts you'll find. I planted that pine nut tree from a seed, actually. I bought the seed from a seed supplier. Cockatoos are always attracted to pine trees. They know how to break pine cones open. Some of the native sort of trees are sort of coniferous. Trees like native cypress trees and casuarina trees. You might find the odd pine nut there, but you wouldn't find too many. What are you eating? A pine cone. It's a nice warm spring day, a Sunday in spring, early spring. What a big pine cone that is. You're moving about. They know how to get the seeds out, don't they? They have a very hard seed in the cone, those stone pines. That's why they're called stone pines, because the husk, the shell around the seed is like a stone. Cockatoo looking for pine nuts in the pine cone. I'm sure if you've got a caged cockatoo they'd like some toys, wouldn't they? And there's the pine tree I planted a long time ago, decades ago. That's a stone pine, Pinus pinea. Very drought resistant and the source of pine nuts, the Mediterranean sort of pine nuts that they use in Greek cooking. That sound is a sulphur-crested cockatoo. Stop making that noise. That sound is a sulphur-crested cockatoo. And there's the pine nut tree I planted a long time ago, decades ago, before you were born. Actually, I planted it in 1986 in a plastic cup with a hole drilled in it. Quite drought resistant, but they don't produce a lot of cones with extra water in summer. So if you really want a pine nut crop, you need to give them a bit of extra water in the summertime. You can do that too, it's just a matter of time, that's all it is. Just a matter of time. They're called umbrella pine also, I suppose because of the umbrella shape. It is a bit umbrella shaped. They do lose some of the lower branches. And pine trees certainly attract cockatoos. They like to rip the pine cones to shreds just for something to do sometimes. Yeah, so if you've got a cockatoo, save some pine cones from the park. What a big pine cone. Yes, I think there's a native bunya pine, so there are sort of pine cone affairs in Australia that have big pine cones and things. Did it fly off with that pine cone? I'm not sure. I think they're better off in my yard than in the pet shop, really. Where's your friend gone? There you are. I can't see your friend properly, but I don't want the neighbours to think I'm spying on them, so I don't want to be too obvious. Pick it up, go on, pick it up for us. There's a big pine cone. Hold it with your hands. Pick the pine cone up with... I suppose you can't hold it up with both hands, no. He's thoroughly going through the whole pine cone. That's it. Do some tricks for us. Toss it up in the air or something. Show us your talents. Kick it round like a football.